What's up, YouTube? Mike here from Talk to the Mike, and I'm here with...
Cal Dodd from the Wolverine, the X-Men animated series, 1992 to 1997.
Perfect. Thank you very much for being on the show.
My pleasure.
So for again, you just said what you do, but for the people who don't know who you are, you want to tell them a bit about yourself?
No. No. Well, no. So you're in Montreal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I used to fly to Montreal a lot
Mm-hmm.
to do radio and TV commercials. And
Okay.
it was the greatest city when I had the TV show called Circus from 78 to 83.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought that the girl and I on that show were like Donnie and Marie Osmond.
Okay.
Donnie and Marie show in the U.S. had just quit, so I don't know, maybe they did it on purpose, but we were sort of cast to look like those two. And it was a hugely successful show where we had 6 dancers and great production numbers, a lot of music, singing, and the best circus acts in the world. And it was filmed in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember doing a commercial for Wonder Bra, of all things, in Montreal. And I went with Lisa Dalbello, who did the female part.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful, Wonder Bra, that thing. And we just flew in to do that, and we went to a bar afterwards. And I walked down the stairs with the producer, a buddy of mine, and all I could hear was like, "Oh, tableau, c'est lui, c'est lui." What? I said to George, "What did he say?" He said, "Well, yeah, they know you from the TV thing. Because Montreal was great supporting Canadian people, stars, their own stars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto was terrible at that. So it was very cool just to hear that all of a sudden. Wow."
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I had a TV show. I sung from the age of 3, and my brother sang as well. The whole entire family. Rory went on to work with Meatloaf. He was in Meatloaf and did all the backgrounds with the group Meatloaf and with Jim Steinman. And a great story. Like Rory was at work and he did all the demos for Steinman,
Mm-hmm.
for Meatloaf albums, and for anyone. So Steinman had just written Totally Sips of the Heart. And it's 2:00 in the morning, and Rory's been doing demos with him. And Simon said, "Hey, Ice," because they called Rory Ice because he was from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Ice, it's cold here. "Hey, Ice, can you do this one thing I'm doing for Bonnie Tyler?" She said, "Well, sure. What is? Come on, it's 2 in the morning." She said, "No, it won't take you long." So it didn't take him long. And of course, the record was record of the year in whatever year that was, 85 or 6 or 7, whatever. Like, turn around every now and then I get a
Yeah, that song. Yeah.
Right, Ice. Turn around, right. That's my little brother. So we were singing, and I sang forever and ever until I got this Wolverine thing in 1992. I'd never done a voiceover, and it was very odd the way it all happened.
Okay.
Here we are today.
Cool. Now, did they let you when you auditioned to be the voice of Wolverine? Did you try different voices, or did you already know what voice you were going to use?
Well, no, I didn't know because I didn't know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys from New York and LA were behind the glass, and just anyone who's done this before. And I'm in the booth, and they're giving me a picture of him, and he said he's 5'3". I said, "Wow, tall boy,"
Mm-hmm.
and built like a fire hydrant.
Mm-hmm.
And tough as nails. And I said, "Okay, that's like where I grew up then." Port Dover, Ontario, 3,500 people, the largest inland lake fishing fleet in the world back then. And so the line they gave me to read was addressed to, and I said, "Well, who's this? Who's he? What's the scenario here?" And they said, "Well, it's addressed at Sabretooth." And I said, "Who is what? What's Sabretooth?" I said, "What is this? Am I in like an animal show? Is this an animal show?" They said, "No, you're not familiar with." No, none of us were, except Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Knew who the X-Men were. Because we're busy.
Exactly.
Singing and stuff. And so they said, "Oh, well, this is not what he's like, and he's tough, and blah blah blah." And I said, "Well, so what do you hear him sounding like?" And they said, "Well, maybe a bit of Clint Eastwood." I went, "Oh God, here we go." The typical, the tough voice thing.
Yeah.
And me coming from a tough town, I just picked another guy. So I picked another person aside from Clint. I picked Wolfman Jack.
Okay.
Remember Wolfman Jack?
Yep.
Wolfman Jack, baby. That midnight special.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a bit of him in, and it got addicting more and more. I would just stick the edge that he had in his voice. Because Clint is too quiet. And
Yeah.
Wolverine, if anything, was not quiet,
Mm-hmm.
except within himself. So I just started. The first line they gave me was this one, and I said, "So this is it." He said, "Yeah, Sabretooth. You don't like him. You never liked him. Every time you meet, all you do is fight." I said, "Terrific." So the line was this. My very first line I read said, "All right, you egg-sucking piece of gutter trash. You always did like picking on people shorter than you. Well, I'm shorter. Pick on me." And then the fight was on, per usual. They just went behind the glass. They just went, "Oh dear, oh dear," and they started give them some more lines, you know. And so I did about 20 minutes with them, and it was a lot of fun. And the next one they gave me, I just loved. It's become my favorite line of his, and he had many. Because Wolverine had the best lines of any character.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I don't care who you love the best, but it was just funny lines. But this one, it's an episode where he's with the Hellfire Guard. He busts through the door with his claws and out, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a guy got a gun on him, and he marches just very slowly, walks towards him, and this is his line. "I know what you're thinking, punk. Question is, can I get Wolverine before he turns me into shish kebab with those claws? Well, bub, see it as these claws are adamantium, the strongest metal known, and can slice through vanadium steel like a hot knife through butter, buddy. You gotta ask yourself, do I feel lucky?" And they just dropped their hands. They stood up and applauded. And they said, "You can go." "Thank you." And they phoned me that night and told me, "You are Wolverine." I said, "Terrific, whoever he is." I said, "I can't wait." And away we went.
Nice.
5 years of my life, beautiful years.
Oh yeah, it was. I think that, like, to me, it's still one of the better animated Marvel shows around. So it had, like, it wasn't just like a show after show. It actually had a storyline. It actually had like stuff going to it.
It was like a soap opera, which is why they started doing the intro previously on X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever heard that on an animated series?
Exactly.
They revamped what happened the week before. What? It's like a soap opera or something.
It was to keep track of everybody, or if it was like something that happened in the previous episode that wasn't the next one too, they'd still show it. Like I think like the Phoenix Saga, they'd show stuff from the first couple episodes and lead on to it. So it was always cool because you always sit there like, oh, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen now. And sometimes it stopped like cliffhangers. There'd be like a lot of to be continues, and it was really good. It was, like I said, one of my favorite shows. I still watch it. I still have it, and I still enjoy it. And and now, like I said, now it was everybody's favorite to the point that Marvel is remaking it too now. I think it's the X-Men '97 show that they're going to do. Now, is this going to be a continuation to the original, or is this all like a reboot?
Oh, big time.
It is?
Yeah, that's why it's called X-Men '97. That's what it will be called,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. It starts right from we left where our last episode, which was a very sad episode, because all the X-Men are standing there as the jet leaves with Professor X on it, supposedly dying to another planet with Landra, I believe, and he ends up on this planet with Landra, and so it starts right from that very moment.
Okay, perfect.
The episodes start from there, and away we go.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to see that. I'm hoping that's coming out, I think, soon, isn't it? I think.
Beg pardon?
That's coming out soon on Disney Plus.
Oh, they don't know either. I've heard that. Well, it's not till 2023 for sure.
Okay.
And I've heard even as late as October of 2023.
Okay.
2023. It seems an awful long time to me.
Exactly.
We've only finished 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's a year, but it's worth the wait. If it's going to continue from the original.
I hope so. And it's I'll just give you one hint. It is very, 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 very. The writing again is brilliant, and it's much more modern stuff. It follows the comic books.
Okay.
So people who read the X-Men, just like our series did, it was very true to the comic books, which the fans loved.
Mm-hmm.
And they also loved that the writers didn't write down to kids. You know, they were told to like maybe do that. They said, no, we're not going to do that. You know, because for instance, when Morph dies in like the second episode, the people at Fox said, you can't do this. What are you doing? You're writing. If he dies, children won't. He said, no. we're not writing down to these children. This will be part of their life sooner or later,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll have to deal with it. And just this happens in everyone's life, and that's one of the reasons it was so successful too, is because of that. The writing was brilliant, and the fans loved them for that.
Exactly. It wasn't just like a show that for kids like adults. My dad used to watch it with me. My sometimes if I didn't get a chance to watch it, he'd sit and watch it and tell me what happened. Like it was not just based for kids. It was for everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody who liked Marvel, anybody who liked X-Men, loved the show.
Oh yeah. No, it was very, very like intelligent writing, and it covered every topic, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, racism. It dealt with everything right up front.
Exactly. Now, if you could, I know because there's so many episodes, but if you could pick one episode that you enjoyed the most, which one was it?
I have two off that again. Each one of them has this with Wolverine. I mean, he has a great moment in every episode.
It's true.
It makes me laugh. Always makes me laugh because his lines were the best.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved Nightcrawler. I loved that episode a lot, the Nightcrawler episode,
Mm-hmm.
where they burned down of course, Sabretooth, whatever, all these people are rioting, they don't, and they burned down the whole thing, and Wolverine ends up in the church, in the chapel at the end in France,
Mm-hmm.
on his knees, praying at the altar. Again, this is like, what? Because midway through the thing, he's like, "Where's your God now?" To that dude with the long tail.
Yeah.
I loved that episode, and I loved Old Soldiers.
Okay.
It's the one that starts in a cemetery, and there's a bunch of old soldiers there at the gravesite of one of their buddies who was killed in the war,
Mm-hmm.
Second World War. And then it goes back in time. Well, they see Wolverine over at one, and they say, "Hey, isn't that our buddy over there?" They go over and tap him on the back, and he says, "Something I can do for you boys." As only he could. Meanwhile, these guys just think, and it is him. They think, that looks like what's his name? He said, "Boy, you sure could be his double." Yeah, or something. And he says, "Yeah, or something." Get into it with them and stuff. Anyway, and then he goes and meets, goes to Europe and to Paris and meets Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a great episode, and funny lines from Wolverine about Captain America's outfit and stuff. That was another one of my favorites.
Nice.
Yeah, so those two.
Perfect. Now, I'm trying to talk real quick about Goosebumps, because you also did the voice of Slappy, I think, in the TV series of Goosebumps.
Beg pardon? TV series, yeah.
How did that come along, going from Wolverine to Slappy?
Very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
Like totally different. And I do that at Comic-Con. So I just started because I didn't realize how popular Slappy was
Mm-hmm.
with little kids and people that just got freaked out by him. And they would just come up to my table. They just have one picture of him, and the rest is all X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And they would just stop and stand, look at this thing and say, "You did this voice too?" Because it's ridiculously high. Slappy's voice.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like very high stuff, and it's like,
wasn't very nice of you to put me in the sewer like that, was it there?
that kind of voice. So, but whatever. Voice is a voice, and I love doing them. So it was a lot of fun doing him too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like Wolverine, though, huh?
No, Wolverine, it's iconic pretty much. So, like even when I watch somebody or my son watches the other newer X-Men shows, and I'm listening to him talk, and I'm like, that's not the Wolverine that I grew up with. That's not him. So I'm used to your voice as Wolverine. Even the new people or the movie, even like the movies of Hugh Jackman, I'm still like, no, it's not the same. Yeah, you have to have that voice, and even I think all my friends and us, we used to always try to imitate that voice too. When we're playing it with the X-Men figures, and we'd imitate your voice to do that. So it was always fun.
Yeah. That's fun. That's what's his name? I'm sure. Because our anniversary, the 30th anniversary was Halloween night of this year, 30 years.
Yep.
I can't believe his name's gone. said this is the evening that every child that was going to school.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's my buddy Ryan Stick.
Yes,
Yeah.
Brian, that started imitating Cal Dodd as Wolverine.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's so true because the kids. I mean, and people come up to my desk, my table at Comic-Cons, and they just look and shake their head. As soon as they do the voice, they just lose it. But they just said, first thing they say is that I have to thank you for my childhood. I said, okay, no problem. And I guess as far as like you saved my life for different people.
Oh wow.
And stuff. Well, it's very, and that happens a lot too. It's just unbelievable. They are so devoted to the series and to Wolverine in my case.
Awesome. Now, do you do a lot of Comic-Cons?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're leaving next Thursday for Grand Rapids, Michigan. And then 3 days later, I'm going to Bel Air, Maryland. And it's just going to continue because it's the 30th anniversary.
Exactly, it's a big thing. So
it's huge. I'll be going at least every other week somewhere for the next year, I'm sure.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy, Michael.
It'll be fun too, because like you said, you like to see the fans and you see all the fans, like they dress up. I'm guessing they all dress up in they like you get a lot of people dressed up like Wolverine to come see you.
Oh shit, yeah, the cosplayers are great. I mean they're fantastic. These are like professionals. They do this for a living. A lot, some of them.
Oh, I know.
It's unbelievable. And yeah, they like to say, they come up and they've got their Wolverine claws on and the whole outfit.
Well, I help out at the Ottawa Comic Con and the Montreal Comic Con every now and then, and I remember one guy dressed up like Wolverine, and even when he closed his fist, the claw came out. And I was like, how'd you make that happen? He was keeping it a secret, and then when he opened his hand, the claw went in. So they go like great details for that stuff. And I'm like, that's kind of interesting. So and like the costumes are like I'm looking at costumes. I'm walking around just dressed up like with a t-shirt and seeing them like 7 feet tall, dressed up like a character, and I'm like, how do you do this for the whole day walking around in that? Like, it's insane.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
You know what is also insane, and it just bothered all of us in the cast for like the last 5 years. All the cast, all the voice people on X-Men were from Canada.
Oh,
all of us.
Okay.
Oh yeah, everyone. Do you think we've ever been to the Toronto Comic-Con? Never, not even invited. You think we've ever been to Montreal? No, never. There's nowhere in Canada have we been to a Comic-Con.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised at that.
It's just, and in the States, it's just, we are like magnanimous heroes. And like you say, icons. It's just, it's ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
So typical of Canada.
Yeah,
like I said before about they ignore their everyone has to leave to go to the States, and then they say, "Oh yeah, he's Canadian," as a la John Candy, and all the Second City people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now have you done more voiceovers for different cartoons as well, or are those just the two?
Yeah. I did a cartoon called King, which I love doing. And my name was Bob Wire. And he was made of wire. And he had a gravelly with a Bronx kind of accent and stuff. And I loved that character. Anyway, it was great. And I do Paw Patrol. I did the last movie they did actually with them.
Okay.
A couple of episodes as Ron Rapidfire, he just does the the races when they have car races, the Paw Patrol. I'm like the announcer, the race announcer.
Oh, cool.
Rapidfire, because he talks really quickly, like disc jockeys. Okay, coming over next year. What did he say? Yeah, that guy.
I'll tell my son that because he used to watch Paw Patrol. I'll be like, see the guy that's speaking really fast? Daddy interviewed him. He's gonna think that's cool. Now, he even watches the X-Men right now too, and he likes that. Like he's like this X-Men show is when I was young. He's like, oh, it's old. I'm like, no, watch it. Starts watching it, and he's 9. So
he's 9. So you get to watch it, the new series with him.
Exactly, because he's excited for that, and he asked me why they call it X-Men '97. I'm like, well, because it was back in that time. So he started watching the old ones, and he's like, oh, I love this show. And he just keeps watching it now. So he's hooked on it too. So
I love it.
And then when I got your promo for it, when I showed him the promo, he's like, hey, it's the same voice as Wolverine. I'm like, it's because it is Wolverine that I'm going to be doing. He's like, oh, cool. He's all excited. So.
And what just astounds myself too is the number of family guys that come. Well, they're usually around 40, anywhere from 38 to 42, whatever, because they were young. They were like 10 when watching the series, but now they have children of their own, whom, of course, if they're boys, Donna, my wife, said, we have to have where only Logans can come to the Comic-Con. He said it would be loaded. There are so many families that have named their son Logan from the series. That's
true, yeah. That name became popular because of that.
Yeah.
It was true. I remember that because I think in my class we had two people called Logan. So
and another guy from Montreal, Gabriel Piantrozzi or whatever. He's a tat artist, and he draws very well, etc. A friend of Rick's as well.
Yep.
Ryan, not Rick. Ryan's Gabriel Piantrozzi, I think.
Yeah, he's got a tattoo shop, and he's got a tattoo on his head, and he's tattooed everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, so he named his son Logan. And he brought him to Toronto. I went and met him and had my picture taken with he and his son, with my claws and the Wolverine jacket and the whole ball of wax. It's just unreal.
Oh yeah, the fans who love the show are diehard fans, and they're committed to it, and they go above and beyond.
I just love them. I love them. They're just so sincere.
But I would say it was a good show, and it was always they stopped it, and then the next week you'd be like previously on X-Men, so you had to keep track, or if not, you recorded it. And I remember sometimes I would go. I had stuff to do, so I'd be like, okay, X-Men plays this time. I put my cassette in, press record, and I come back and watch it afterwards. And I had one tape specifically for all those X-Men. That was my recording tape for X-Men when I missed it. So.
Yeah. And I'm going to be interested to see because everyone, because every time I'm at a Comic-Con, I bring my cell phone and I hook it up to the Bluetooth, and I start whenever the thing starts, I put on the theme song.
Yeah.
And people just freak out. They come running over to the table. It's a classic theme song.
Oh yeah, it was one of the better ones. It was amazing too. And every time you hear it, it stays in your head.
Yeah. So I wonder if they're going to keep that for X-Men '97 when it premieres, whenever that's going to be.
That'd be interesting to know. Yeah, or revamp it a little bit, like the same music, but maybe
exactly like do a more modern, whatever they think is a more modern version of it or something. That would be wonderful.
But even if they don't make a modern version and they use the original, I think people would still enjoy that because it is a continuation of the original, so it should stay the same.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was one of the few shows, like even if you watched Spider-Man or anything else, sometimes the intro changed a little bit. This one never changed. It was always the same thing. It's like the song stayed constant. They never changed.
Yeah, we're Beast. So George Booth is doing it again. Lenore Zand, like Rogue, is back. What's her name? Jean. Catherine Disher. There's 4 of us that are back from the original series, and we're all going to Grand Rapids this next weekend.
Okay.
And Eric and Julia Leewald and Larry Houston, who's bringing a brand new photo. He's a great artist, of course, and he has another of all the X-Men on it and stuff. It's one of a kind thing at that Comic-Con. So that should be a lot of fun seeing everyone. All 5, 6 of us, whatever. Yeah, and Storm's doing her first one, as well as Jean.
Okay.
So, Allison City Smith, and Catherine Disher, and myself, and George Booza, and I don't know who else. Probably Gambit.
Well, that'll be good. That'll be really good. And I like the fact that the old cast came back. Well, most of the old cast came back. I saw stills of what the show's supposed to look like. I think the only person that looks different in the show is Magneto now. And they made him look a little different.
In which?
In the X-Men '97 compared to X-Men.
Oh.
They changed his look a little bit, but everybody else has the same look. I find so.
Oh, yeah, because the animation is different too. I think.
Okay.
I think they were showing glimpses of it or something. That's a while back, but
Yeah, so they made it more like a more modern animation, I guess, or
yeah.
okay.
I'm
Well,
not sure that I liked it, but we'll see.
well, I'm looking forward to watching the show. I'm excited for that. So, like I said,
So am I.
it's gonna be the longest year to wait, but it'll be worth it when it comes out. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna stick. And I think you guys are gonna go on for a while with that show.